Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today the Houston Rockets beat the Atlanta Hawks 100-96. Great win for the Rockets. This was a game that was rescheduled from January 11th because of some weather issues in Atlanta, and the Rockets, a total of a little bit over 2.5 weeks later, are able to get this game played and get the dub 100-96. It was a good win. Yeah, let's get into it. I mean, this was not as good of a win as last night. The Rockets beat the Celtics. It was a great win, and Ben Thompson, Dylan Brooks had the night they had, combining for 69 points, and obviously Jalen, Fred, and Şengün struggled last night. Well, Şengün did have 11 and 9 and 9, but the Rockets were still able to get a win because of Dylan Brooks and Ben Thompson. Tonight, I mean, I wouldn't say that was the case. I think the guys that you would have hoped would have stepped up in Boston did their part, and that was Şengün and Jalen Green, and Jae'Sean Tate was all over this win as well. And we're gonna get over him or go over him. Let's start off with the fact that this is the first Rockets win in Atlanta since the 2021-22 season. And that win would kind of remind you of what the win in Boston was last night, because that win was 36-point performance for Dylan Brooks, 33 for Ben Thompson. Obviously, those guys are great players, but the Rockets 2021-22 season win against the Hawks in Atlanta, they had guys like Eric Gordon, who had 32 points, and DJ Augustina, who had 22 points. I mean, you look at that team in the 2021-22 season, obviously Eric Gordon and DJ Augustin were solid. Eric Gordon was good. But, number one, number two option was Christian Wood and Jalen Green. And then maybe you look towards Eric Gordon and some of the other guys on that team. So it was guys like Eric Gordon and DJ Augustin who stepped up in a Rockets win in Atlanta in the 2021-22 season, which was the last time the Rockets won in Atlanta, which was December 2021. And that was exactly what it was last night. And Ben Thompson and Dylan Brooks, yes, they are great players. I'm not saying they aren't. I'm not trying to compare them to Eric Gordon or DJ Augustin, but they're not the number one options on this team scoring-wise. That's Jalen Green, that's Alperen Şengün, and those guys stepped up last night just like Eric Gordon and DJ Augustin did a couple seasons ago. And so it was great that the Rockets got their first win in Atlanta in a couple seasons. Remember, they opened up the 2022-23 season in Atlanta last year. In the 2022-23 season and lost, which was kind of expected. And then last season, yes, the Rockets were a little bit better, but could not beat the Hawks. I think they were a little bit shorthanded. I believe they were shorthanded. I don't think they had Fred VanVleet. I think there was another player or two missing for the Rockets in the game in Atlanta last year. The Rockets also couldn't beat them at home last year. And I think this is the first time the Rockets have beat the Hawks since the 2022-23 season, when they had that amazing comeback the day after Thanksgiving against the Hawks. And it was the game where Jalen Green went off, and it was like a 20-point comeback. That was the last time the Rockets beat the Hawks. So let's go over the stats of this game. Not a lot of points scored, 100-96, and this is not surprising at all if you ask me. These are two teams that play good defense. For starters, with that's number one. But also, these are two teams who are on the second night of a back-to-back, and two teams who did have a great night. I mean, the Rockets, sure, they beat the Celtics. That was the great way to end, to start the night. But here's the problem with the night. The Rockets did not land in Atlanta until 3 a.m. And the Hawks didn't beat the Rockets by much. The Hawks played in Minneapolis, playing the Timberwolves the night before, and they lost. So I guess their flight wasn't as happy as the Rockets were. But they landed at 2:30. So, I mean, I don't know how sleeping was for both teams on the plane, but for me, I don't sleep well on a plane. It's not a great night, and it's two teams that play great defense. Not only that, but you got a late flight in the second night of a back-to-back. So not surprising at all. And let's go over to the stats of this game. 25 points for Jalen Green, 7 rebounds. Terrible from three. I mean, why? This is the one frustrating thing with Jalen Green for me. had a great night. Of course, I'm not trying to say he didn't, but when the threes aren't falling, why keep shooting him like that? I don't think there's any reason to continue to shoot it like that. I mean, let's look at Jalen Green's efficiency when it wasn't 3-pointers tonight. 10 for 15 from the floor outside of his 3-pointers. Like, attack the basket more. Take more mid-range shots. That is what was falling for Jalen Green tonight, not the threes. Jalen might have had a 40-piece if all 24 shots, I'm not saying all 24 shots are going to be twos, but, I mean, I'd love to see, like, there are plenty of games for Jalen Green where the three ball is falling down and you have the green light to shoot the ball. But then he has games where, it's not falling for him and he doesn't have the green light. And like you'll see nights from him where he's shooting terrible from three, but everything else is going right for Jalen Green. He's getting to the basket and having success getting to the basket, and he's knocking down mid-range shots. But for some reason, he continues to shoot threes. Like, Jalen, I think you've had your good moments from three this year, but attack the basket, shoot mid-range shots. Those were working for him tonight, and he didn't do that enough. For 15 of his shots out of 24 to only be mid-range and layups or dunks like that when he's shooting 1 for 9 from three. I mean, at what point do you stop shooting threes and attack the basket or shoot mid-range shots instead? But a great 25 points and 7 rebounds when he shot 1 for 9 from three. Was an amazing 10 for 15 from the floor outside of his threes. So a really good night for Jalen. I mean, great defensive night for Jalen. Two steals, 1 block. The only bad part of this night for Jalen was the 1 for 9 from three. And that's easy to solve. Just don't shoot them if they're not falling. And that's been one troubling thing for him. Another guy that needs to learn this is Fred VanVleet. 5 points and 6 assists for Fred tonight. But, if they're not falling for Fred, this is another one that pisses me off. Fred VanVleet will have these nights where he shoots absolutely terrible from three, absolutely looks terrible, but then he actually looks solid if he goes to the basket. I mean, tonight he didn't do that much. He only shot 1 for 2, but we've seen plenty of nights this season where he doesn't look good from three, but if he's shooting mid-range shots or is going to the basket or taking shots like that, he is having some success. Obviously, we didn't see that at all because he didn't even shoot those shots tonight. Only shot 1 for 2 outside of his 3-point attempts. Only 5 for Fred VanVleet tonight. But, he does have these off games like this and had a couple great games against Cleveland, I think, which were big. I mean, he had 26 and 20 against Cleveland. So I'm grateful for that. But these last couple games have been rough for Fred VanVleet. Hopefully they get better. Şengün, I thought, was better tonight offensively. Had 10 rebounds, had 18 points, 2 assists, 1 steal. Look, he had 9 assists last night. That was huge. But shooting-wise, he was not good at all. So tonight, going out there and shooting 7 for 12 after having a terrible shooting night last night, you love to see it. And both games in the last couple nights have had big dunks. I mean, it was tied 110 to 110 the other night. And he had a dunk to give the Rockets a 2-point lead. Then tonight, Rockets are up 2, and a game-sealing dunk for Alperen Şengün. But 18-10, I think is solid for going up against a team that has been really solid against centers this year. All right. Dillon Brooks coming off his amazing performance. I think would be probably his best performance as a Houston Rocket, most likely. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 4 for 12, 3 from 3. Had a little incident with Trae Young. Lucky he didn't get ejected. I was in the car, and I get a text from a friend that says, Dylan's going to get suspended. And then I go and check on my phone, and he's not even ejected. I'm like, okay, I don't think Dylan will get suspended. I hope he doesn't. You're not going to suspend a guy if they don't get ejected, is what I'm thinking. But Dylan did get a little frustrated there with Trae Young. It happens. I'm not going to try to condone that, but I guess I don't have anything to say because I'm not going to defend it either. But 11 points for Dylan tonight. And then the other starter was Amen Thompson. Yeah, I mean, not the best night. 11 points, 5 rebounds. This is probably his worst game as a starter, since Jabari's been injured. But, I can't say I'm super surprised just because the fact that when Amen Thompson brought the energy he brought last night, has 33 points, 10 rebounds, has to do offensively what he did, not to mention not just the fact what he did, and how big of a role he played, but also the fact he played 42 minutes out there for this Rockets team last night. It's not surprising he was gassed up tonight. And I think you could tell he was a little tired. He didn't shoot the ball either. Only took 5 shot attempts tonight. And got to the free throw line, 7 for 7 at the free throw line. I thought that was great from him tonight. But I think he was tired. I think that's why he only played 31 minutes in this game tonight. I think after what he did last night, I don't think Ime wanted to use him too much, and so it's not so surprising after a 42-minute game the other night. He only plays 31 in this game. But like I said, I'm not surprised at all. It was great defensively, and I think that's where you need him to be. Is great defensively. He had 3 steals, had 1 block, and I don't know if I would say this is his worst. I mean, he's had one not so great game as a starter. I think his worst game as a starter so far is 11-9. I would say 11-5 is worse than 11-9. But he also at the same time he still had 3 steals and 1 block. But I think in the game he had 11-9. He had like 4 steals. So this is like his worst game as a starter. But again, I'm not surprised just because of the fact back-to-back, second night, and he has the game he had last night and had to play 42 minutes. Not surprised. But you know what's great? When Amen Thompson plays the way he played tonight offensively and rebounding, you have Jason Tate playing the way he played tonight. And you need guys like Jason Tate to step up and Jock Landale to step up when you are shorthanded. No Tari Eason due to resting. No Steven Adams due to resting. Obviously, still no Jabari. You need those guys. And you have Amen Thompson and Fred VanVleet playing not so great offensively, scoring wise. You need a guy like Jason Tate or Aaron Holiday or Jock Landale to step up. And if I'm Raphael Stone, I mean, maybe this game isn't looking too bad for the trades. I mean, maybe Jason Tate rised up that trade value a little bit, gave you 25 minutes, shot 6 for 6, 4 for 5 at the free throw line, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 steals. I don't know, when a guy has a game like this, it's hard to tell, is this going to be the game that builds the trade value and maybe pushes the team to make a trade, or is this the game where the Rockets start to, trust Jason Tate more? When he has a game like this team is way better, offensively and defensively. But, I'd love to see Jason Tate play like this every night. And he definitely has his good games, but if he played like this, if he continues to play like this, it definitely makes this Rockets team better. But I actually wouldn't mind if the Rockets traded him, just because the fact that I think he would have some solid value in the trade market. And then, like I said, Jock Landale had 4 points and 6 rebounds. You need some rebounding when you miss Steven Adams. Steven Adams is a big rebounder for this team, and Jock Landale goes in there and grabs 6 rebounds in 16 minutes. And also, Adams does a really solid job facilitating as a center. What does Jock do? Goes out there and gets 2 assists, shoots 2 for 3 with 4 points, which is not much. I mean, it's not much more than what Steven would do. I mean, he's only averaging like 5 points per game on the season. And gets a block as well. And Aaron Holiday as well. I mean, I know Aaron Holiday played last night, but didn't play that much. Only scored 3 points. Goes out there tonight against his former team, has 8 points and 4 assists and 1 block and a rebound. Love to see that. No Jeff Green. Obviously, like I said, no Jabari, no Tari, no Steven, no Nate Williams, no Reed Shepherd, obviously. For the Hawks tonight, look, I actually like this. I mean, Trae Young, only 21 points. And the Trae Young scoring is a little bit down this year, but Trae Young has killed the Rockets in his career, averaging 29 points per game against the Rockets in his career before this game. So keep him 8 points under his average. Love to see it. Outside of that, I mean, DeAndre Hunter had 16 points and 5 rebounds. There was a lot of production outside of that. Another 3 players in double figures, but I mean, Dyson Daniels had 12. Vit had 13 and 5 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 steals, and Muhammad Gay had 11 points and 7 rebounds, and that was it. Larry Nance Jr. had 6 points and 2 rebounds. That was it. So also, I did miss going over Cam Whitmore, 1 for 4, 2 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. They did say tonight on the broadcast that he's still really sick, so maybe we can see him feeling a little bit better against Thursday against Memphis, because the Rockets will need that. Let me know your thoughts on the Rockets 100-96 win in the comment section, and peace out. Go Rockets.